and I'm happy you're joining us this morning. We've got a great show for you. So I do have some announcements I want to make beforehand, before we bring our guests on. We have a great show. We got Amy Powers, who's going to be talking about a new course that she will be teaching on April 30th on short-term rentals. And then we have another guest, Scott Hansen, who is a business coach, success coach, best-selling author, just an all-around awesome person. He'll be talking to us about business productivity, success, and mindset, and anything else that you guys want to comment live and ask questions, because it is a challenging time that we're all going through still. At least my state, Colorado, we're supposed to get the ban lifted on real estate at least on April 27th, or the 26th of the last day. So we can resume normal activity except for open houses, but that doesn't mean every restaurant and store is opening. And a lot of the governors and so forth are talking about extending this crazy shelter in place, no social interaction and social distancing for many, many months. And my opinion is, we cannot sustain that. So I feel like we need to get back to business, be safe, but it's an uneasy time for a lot of people. So as I shared last week, our theme until we all get through this and can sort of resume somewhat normal is eliminating fear. Hey, Vanetta from Atlanta. Vanetta is our chapter president from Atlanta. Thank you for joining us. Fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, which means retreat and hide and not face the reality of what's going on, or just people can't deal with what's happening and they're scared, so they retreat. Or face everything and rise. And that's what I'm choosing to do, face everything and rise. And so that we have the ability to be productive and be future focused. And excuse me. So I love this graphic, and anyone who wants to take that, you can. It's on our site. But I think it's very inspiring to kind of think about the different perspectives, because fear is paralyzing for a lot of people. And because fear comes from uncertainty, we don't know what to expect. And so people go into fear mode when they're either misinformed or just we don't know what to expect for the future. And so it's totally natural, by the way. It's a natural emotion. However, fear, as a lot of people have learned, is false evidence appearing real. False evidence, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real, in addition to that other graphic I showed. And so when we can identify it and then be able to put measures in place to deal with whatever's going on in our power, things that we have control over, because there's a lot of things that we don't control, then it's not something we have to be afraid of. And so what we teach in our classes actually is to make it a concern, because a concern is out here. It's external, and we can deal with a concern and be concerned about a situation, but it's something that leads to action, where fear is internal, and it leads to inaction and paralysis and lack of productivity. And because we're all self-employed, we really can't afford to just sit back and be afraid. And I'm not saying that you might not have a day or two where the situation gets to you. I had that over the weekend on Sunday, and carried over into Monday. And it is tough. There's a lot resting on my shoulders, and I'm sure a lot of you feel that same way. And a lot of people counting on you, counting on me. And so, we're doing what we can to stay viable and get through this, but it can get to you. And so be kind to yourself and give yourself time to retreat. If that just means hanging out in your bed or vegging out and watching TV, that's fine. I'm not saying we have to be like robots and be productive every single second, but there's a point where we can't let the fear overtake our lives. And you like the purple in my hair, Kevin? See the purple and the blue? The turquoise? I do look nice and warm. It's going to be cold here again this coming week, but I think this might be the last time I get to wear this vest before our spring finally hits. We still have no leaves on our trees. We have grass on the ground, little tulips coming up, but no leaves. So it's always sort of weird living here after living most of my life in California, where right now everything's totally blooming and it's great. So, all right, let's talk about conference. So this is our theme: vision for success, focus, clarity, and future. And it is sort of interesting. I think I mentioned this last week. So borrowing from Nick May, who a lot of you know him, he's got a podcast and also a very successful painting business here in the Denver area. He has been talking about the correlation that 100 years ago, our country was also locked down for prohibition. And so 100 years later, here we are again in a different scenario, of course, but again, unable to really lead our lives and have the freedom of will and choice that we are used to. And so our 2020 conference, and at this point, I haven't made any decisions on that. It's not until the end of September. And so my hope is that large gatherings will be allowed by then. I can't imagine any reason why they wouldn't be, considering that the cases are on the decline in most areas, except for the states that didn't enact the social distancing. I guess they're still climbing. But anyhow, we'll figure it out and come up with a solution. But we have a roaring 2020s party that we're supposed to be having. It's our award. So without even knowing that this was all going to happen, we linked our theme to the 1920s, because I said to myself, when is it ever going to be 2020 again, or the year, next time it'll be 100 years from now, and none of us will be there unless some miracle thing comes. We can all live to 150 years old, 130 years old, whatever. So, but you think about it, it's an interesting correlation. So our conference, we are still making plans, moving forward with that. And as soon as I have any additional information, of course, I will be sharing that with everybody. So what can we do to be productive right now? So you can get some education, and we're going to talk about that. These are our keynote speakers, of course, for the conference. And we heard from Chris Widener on the show, and Robbie. We're going to get Johnny on, and he actually spoke to our membership call. And but I want to get him on this show as well. So 3 really, really great keynote speakers. And then, of course, we have other speakers that we're lining up for you to bring you excellent knowledge. The 2 days following the conference is always our advanced stager training, and both Johnny and Chris will be speaking and sharing at that, not really speaking, but teaching to our 6-figure and above stagers who qualify to attend. And that's the first time we've done that. And there'll, of course, be other, industry colleagues and so forth. It's a collaboration between a lot of different industry leaders, coaches, educators. But we also have the opportunity to have these 2 gentlemen extend their time with us and be able to have more of an intimate learning experience with them for people that have the advanced businesses. So I'm excited for that. So that's the 2 days following conference. The education, of course, we have the buyer trends specialist. A lot of you have attended that course, and I am updating it. I know I keep saying that every week, and I will get it recorded this week. Those of you that have taken it in the past, we will automatically send you the updated version, so you'll have that. Then we also have the Investor Staging Consultant designation that you can attend. That's a webinar. All of these are online. And this one teaches you how to work with investors and the mindset and marketing yourself. And so that's a great piece of education. And then, of course, the Luxury Home Staging Certification. You can attend that webinar. You get your designation, and then you turn in 3 projects to qualify yourself as a luxury certified staging specialist. And so make your time productive at home. Get some education. And so those are being offered right now. And then we have 2 new courses, of course, that are being offered. Last week, we talked about the color and design principles for stagers. And this is being offered by Joanne Leonard-Weary and Sandra Reyes. And this has 10 modules. It is, again, webinar based. So you can take this at your leisure. It's not like you have to sit and be committed to a particular time. I know a lot of parents and so forth, you have kids that are still in school, and you're enjoying homeschooling, which I did by choice with my kids for many years. And I actually really enjoyed it. I like the flexibility of it, but it also allowed me to cater things to their learning style, which I think is really important. And maybe some of you are figuring that out. And I know not everybody's equipped to be a teacher, and there's teachers that are teaching online as well. So maybe your role is just ensuring that your child is attending the virtual classroom like they should be, and then helping them with their homework. And then some of you are actually engaging more in the actual teaching piece of it. So I know these are challenging times in a lot of different areas. And so that's why these webinar-based classes are so great, because you can take them when it fits with your schedule, and you don't have to complete them by a certain period of time. So, you don't want to start it and then wait a week and 2 weeks and go, you might not retain the information. In all of our classes, we do have quizzes, or I don't really look at using the word test because that scares a lot of people, but basically it's a series of questions that you have to answer, and that just lets us know that you actually watch the whole thing before we actually issue a designation. And I hope you would agree that's the smart way to do that. But what every stager needs to know about color and design is only $2.99 for IHOSP members, and anybody who's not an IHOSP member, it's $6.49. And so join IHOSP and save money. That's one of the benefits of being part of an association, is we've arranged with educators, with suppliers of products and services that you need. We've negotiated discounts that you can't get on your own. So This is just one example. And of course, I love those two ladies. And you know that the course is going to be fun and fast paced and highly informative. And we talked about adding a niche service to your business that is outside of the staging world. Not the staging world, the resale market, the real estate, selling houses and so forth. Because when the housing market stopped being able to have houses bought and sold for the most part, it's really restricted us. And those of us that did not have another way to generate income, such as color or design or home makeovers or what have you, and those can be done virtually even with your clients, we're all sort of sitting there going, I have no money. And so I've always had additional outlets because I teach this. Always have three major niches you offer in your business and have one of them that is outside of the resale market. So those of you that hadn't set that up yet, here's your perfect opportunity to be able to do that. So get some knowledge so you feel qualified and can educate your clients, and you come from a place of knowledge versus feeling a little bit insecure, like I don't really know what I'm doing, which I felt that way in the past when people have asked me to do things. Short-term rental specialist, Amy's going to be talking about what this is all about. And I'm really excited for this class. This is sort of an extension of the investor staging consultant course, but you don't have to have taken the first one in order to attend this one, although it is advised. So Amy will be sharing about that. And then this course I just recorded for iHosp Europe. So those of you from iHosp who are watching, hey everybody, hey Kat, hey Leslie, and Karen, and Virginia, and Kevin, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey everybody, share this segment on your profiles right now. Let us reach as many people as possible. So those of you that are tuning in, share. It helps us, again, broaden our reach, and hopefully the people that watch it get something beneficial from it. That's our goal. But this is the Certified Consultation and Communication Specialist course, and they get the CCS designation. This was supposed to be taught in Portugal in May, and of course that conference has been postponed until May 2021. So rather than make these people wait an entire year to get this information, I wanted to record it now. There is no charge for iHosp Europe members. No charge, and this was supposed to be additional fee-based. And so next year, when we have our conference in Europe, we'll provide additional education on a different topic that they can learn. But consultations are an easy way to make additional money. So you can do consultations on houses for sale, remodeling, color, home makeovers. I mean, a consultation is just us giving our information and skills and expertise to a particular client to help them with what they want to achieve. And so this course will be available as of today. So it's all set up, and I'm excited for the people in Europe to be able to learn this information. All right, and so this is what I was just talking about. So iHosp Europe Conference postponed until May 2021. We don't have the exact dates yet, I don't think, but as soon as we do, we'll let everybody know. And those of you that had registered already, your registration, your hotel registration, everything just going to get transferred over smoothly to the new dates. So we'll make sure people know what those are. I do want to give a plug for business disruption and your policy coverage. So KMRD is actually doing a webinar today. I have a feeling it might actually be like at the same time this is happening. So they will have it recorded, and then I will upload it to our sites. But those of you that have not checked your insurance policies, do that, because you may have a claim that you can file for business disruption, and it all goes to what's in your policy. So my policy does cover it. I had them look at that, and so they're happy to take a look at anybody's policies, even if you're not a client of theirs, to see what your policy does state regarding this type of a situation. And mine does cover viruses or things that are passed human to human. And so I am fortunate, and anybody who has the KMRD policy through iHosp, you probably also have that, because it's probably the same policy that I do. So the timing of it is going to be crucial. And I have been tracking all of my projects for April, people that had I had in the queue, and then everything got stopped. Some people changed their mind about even selling until next year. So that's lost revenue. And you have to be able to show your lost revenue and how this impacted you in a negative way, and then open up a claim. But you're going to have to wait until like May or June to really see how it plays out, because your business in those successive months where the veil is lifted actually may be more productive than your normal. And so they're going to use that to offset your losses for the month. That's April for me is going to probably be the biggest month of loss. So anyhow, watch that segment. I did a segment with them that's also uploaded, but they are taking their time to help educate our industry professionals. So watch for that. And Stager Wednesday. Andrew, your favorite. I didn't download the video, but there's a whole thing on a pillow challenge. The pillow challenge. Some of you guys may have seen this on Facebook. And so she is challenging, which is so cute. They're challenging all of our industry members to do videos and so forth about the pillow. And the video they did is really cute. And I asked her how she put it together. So they just kind of spliced it, but it's people staging beds, and then they toss a pillow, and then the next scene it shows the other person catching a pillow. So it's almost like that pillow got thrown into the next scene, and then they do their thing. And each segment is 10-15 seconds, or if that. So it's just quick and short, but we want to make it go viral and have some fun. So look for that. She did tag some people on Facebook to get us to participate. So if that's something you want to do, have some fun with it. And it is #Stager Wednesday and raise the standard, which brings me to my last promo here. The PSPMO, Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization. Some of you got some information on that. So we are moving forward. We have our advisory business council and our executive board and so forth. And now we're moving into our committees that will be working on initiatives for our industry. And it is fortuitous that we put in property marketer, not just professional stager in the title, because when you think about shifting and adding services and pivoting, whatever word you want to use, we can add services to our companies like photography or adding the 3D videos and so forth. And that is property marketing, correct? So what we do is capture the property marketing as a business service and be able to offer that to our clients, and not necessarily control. That's not like a negative control, but be able to offer that as value added. But it also will add additional income streams. And so we are stronger together. The whole goal of the Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization is unity, and having a unified voice for our industry that we can take to lobbyists or regulatory agencies and so forth and have a voice. And certainly you guys should hopefully all realize this is super important, because how many of you are in a state where staging wasn't even identified in the list of important services, or ones that you can't do? So in the list of photography and video and title and lenders and real estate agents, of course, but staging wasn't even listed at all. And I'm tired of not being acknowledged, and I don't think it's intentional necessarily, but I just feel like we're an important part of the industry service. We help houses sell for more. We add value to the actual sale, and also to the realtor's business process, because it elevates their standard as well. And we impact probably 20% of the properties that are bought and sold every year. That's huge, and yet we have no visibility. So from the government's side, as far as the real estate industry and your state real estate associations that were lobbying for support for their agents, we're not even on there, and not even in the California AB, is what, 85 or whatever it is, the independent contractor versus employees. Designers, decorators, stagers aren't even named. And so we have some work to do. In an organization like this, when there's many people coming together versus one person trying to do it by themselves, is very powerful. So there we have a Facebook page, so you can let us know that you'd like to join on that page, and then we'll add you to the private group. And then just get ready, because it takes many hands make light work. And it's going to take a village to make this happen. And we have many people that are super interested in being part of this. So look for that. All right. And then Andrea just put up the link for the staging challenge and the pillow challenge is above. So facebook.com is through the Greater Chicago IHOSP Regional Chapter site. And it's really cute. So Andrea, thank you for sharing that. Okay. I think that is all my announcements. All right. So first up, I'm going to bring up Amy. Are you ready, Amy? Nod your head. All right. And it's going to count down for you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, hang on a second. Whoops. You guys could all hear me. I know you could. My sound on my computer's down. Come on, open up. I'm sorry. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay, now, hello.
Hello.
I can hear you. I do. I turn my computer down at night because I get notifications like all night long, and I can hear it in my bedroom, and it annoys me. So I always turn my volume down. You look so cute.
Well, thank you.
I like your hair, dear Bo. So tell everybody who you are.
It's hiding my COVID grays.
That's why I had the hairspray. Isn't that the hairspray that women have, or guys can use it too, but it's just basically tinted. It's actually dry
Yes.
shampoo, but it's tinted.
Yes,
So
I know what you're talking about.
that saves my roots. Well, all right, so tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Amy Powers. I live in Metro Atlanta in the suburbs here. And I have been staging since 2007. So this is my 13th year. Lucky 13. So I am also the Southeast Regional Director for IHOS. And I have been involved in all the major associations in my career. And I have really fallen in love with working with IHOS.
We love you too. We love your energy and your smile. And Amy's a very giving person and mentors people. And, you give of your time and you're not compensated for that for a lot of the things that people ask you to do. And just on your own that you initiate, like your Zoom calls with people in your region just to check in. And I did want to just mention that I think that's a great way to just keep tapped in because people are isolated. And that's a wonderful way to just see everybody's faces and their voices and then just talk about what's happening and how we're going to come out of this and so forth. And so I encourage more people to do that, whether they're part of your association or whatever. It's just your colleagues, just put something out there and get people together. We're not sharing secrets of the world. I mean, if you're talking about staging, first of all, I always say this makes me laugh. Like people are like, well, I don't want to talk about what I do in my business. Like it sounds like new secret. And I'm sorry, there just isn't anything like that earth shattering. So, it's good to share what's working, share challenges you had and how you came out of them or something you tried that maybe didn't work. So it helps someone else avoid that pitfall.
Yes, I've never understood how people have difficulty with that. I have always been transparent. There's enough for it to go around. And my philosophy is participate, network, get to know other people, share what you want to, and guess what? You don't have to share what you don't want to.
Correct. Yeah. Right. That's a great philosophy. So Amy was one of our speakers for the Investor Staging Consultant designation that was issued in Nashville. And then you actually talked about short-term rental staging, but you had half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. So it's really hard to cover.
I had the least amount of time.
Oh, yeah, they were like getting the microphone from you, like with the hook. Get off.
I was like, my timer's still going.
I know.
But it worked out. So we're all good.
And I apologize because I was watching it because I had to do the test for that designation. And so I'm watching, I'm like, what's happening? Because you're still talking and they're like up and then you're like, I still have time left to Jonathan and John.
Well, I think what happened was when I usually speak, I'm usually speaking in front of realtors, my CE class, and I always say, do you have any questions? I asked if they had questions, which was my mistake. And I think that was your cue that you thought we were going into the Q&A segment. But that was just me like forgetting I wasn't supposed to do that.
And so from that though, this whole short-term rental market right now, I know it's shut down because of COVID, but it'll re-emerge. And so you have really carved out this nice niche with your business staging for these clients. And so let's talk about the course. And that's being offered April 30th at noon Eastern time. And people do need to register for it. So let me just throw the designation up here again. So it's the short-term rental specialist. So talk about, just kind of give an overview.
So we're going to dive into way more detail than we did at the investors that we did at the conference regarding the investors. So we're going to go into the process in more detail. I'm going to share more trade secrets than I did in that little talk, a 30-minute talk, and there will be a lot more opportunity for you to ask questions as well, which I think some people are already doing it, but they may have questions how to be more successful at it. And it's just good also to kind of get a feel for the process in general, in case if you do want to start doing it on a regular basis. And
Right.
it's what I love about it is you just remember to have that vacation mindset. You're providing a service that is going to allow people to have a little bit more quality of life. So all those details are very important in my opinion.
Right. And so the class is noon Eastern time, and so it'll be taught through Zoom. You do have to register for it, and the website is on, we've shared that on social media, and I'll type it here, but it's stagingshorttermrentals.com will take you to where you can register. And so IHOSP members, we have a special price for IHOSP members, and then non-IHOSP, your registration actually includes a year of membership, so you not only get this class and the designation, but also access to everything else that we offer. And I'm excited for the webinar. We have a lot of people. Hey, Bridget, we have a lot of people already, and then Ginny
Yeah,
and Lindsay already signing up. So excited for that.
awesome.
Yeah. How much of your business is short-term rentals, would you say?
I would say about 50%.
That's a lot.
Last year it was probably 30%, but it's building those relationships, and I talk about that in the class. Building those relationships and getting referrals, that's gonna be impactful
Yeah.
and growing
And
that.
I would. So, a lot of your properties, are they in Atlanta themselves? Are they in a vacation area?
They're typically Metro Atlanta, which is the hottest. It's the third hottest market in the nation, behind Denver and Nashville.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's good to know, because I know Denver. I mean, I know there are people that are the short-term rental. We have the mountains and so forth, but people forget that people are doing short-term rentals in the metro areas because there's events
Right.
and
Yes.
people fly in. Denver's a major hub for the
Broncos.
airport. Yep.
Yeah.
All
So
that.
usually football, entertainment, those hubs are going to have a lot more, ability to do short-term rentals successfully.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for the class, and it's going to be recorded. So those of you that are watching, you're like,
Yes.
dang, I can't attend live on the 30th. And it will be recorded. We decided to do this way versus just having her record a webinar. She wanted to have that live engagement, and the questions I
Yes.
believe will be super valuable for anybody watching it in the future, that you'll be able to benefit from that as well. So just like with the
Exactly.
other classes, you'll have to, when it's the webinar based, you'll have to have a series of questions you have to answer in order to get the designation. But those people who attend live, obviously we know you're there, so you'll be able to get the designation and certificate, and then get out there and add this to your arsenal of services.
And one thing I'm going to offer as a bonus is the presentation I give to agents who
Oh,
are working with short-term rental clients as property managers, or want to work with short-term rental clients as property managers. I've done it several times with Christina Bell here in Metro Atlanta. We've co-hosted some of those webinars for agents specifically on short-term rental, and it has been very popular, and they continually want us to do it more and more. So we've done 2 so far in the last 2 weeks, and we already have more that are being scheduled.
that's awesome. So thank you for doing that. And there'll be some other handouts that people will get for attending, resources, I should say. So get registered, because space is limited. Space is limited.
Yes.
So don't wait until the last second and then decide. You can't procrastinate. I say procrastination is the killer of productivity, which it is. So don't sit there and go, oh, I got to register for that. Get registered today, this week, so we know what to expect. And it's also because space is limited on the Zoom call.
Exactly.
Well, anything else you want to share?
Nothing necessarily. No, but if connect regionally, connect with your people regionally or locally. I do want to talk about the Zoom call for Metro Atlanta, because Georgia has had that shelter in place, and they're changing it up Friday and Monday. They're expanding it a little bit for some businesses, but it is important right now to stay relevant. If you cannot go out and stage, do something online. Do something where your face and your brand is being present, and that is allowing you to be relevant to your clients. So when things do get back to normal, you have that they have that memory of you fresh, so
Right.
that they're more likely to call you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Right now, people, you need to send out marketing or something like really excited to get back to business, and hope you and your family have been safe during this time. And, we're here for you, just something. So that's a great tip. So,
Thank you.
well, thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and bring Scott Hansen in. So I'm going to sign off with you. Bye, Amy. Have a
All
great rest
right.
of your
Well,
day.
I'll catch you on the live side. You have a good
Okay.
day, Jenny.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, now I get to bring in Scott. It's going to count down for you. Good morning.
Good morning, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I
Good
love the
to meet you.
platform.
Yeah, isn't it cool? Because you can
Really
actually
cool.
brand it and you can have up to 4 people. So I like, and you can do different configurations. And I used to use Facebook Live, but I had so many challenges with audio and just even signal and people, it just became really challenging. So this allows to have a little bit more control, and then the branding is really good too, because I know you do.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
So tell everybody who you are.
Yeah. Well, my name is Scott Hansen. I'm a certified business coach, business strategist. I help small business owners, what I call with their time, team, and money, helping them really get really effective in their time management. Team is helping them build out a team that's super successful, that's operating at the maximum capacity. And then, of course, money is how to actually get in front of your right audience, not necessarily just from a branding standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, so that you actually, what I call crush the competition and outperform the competition.
Which is awesome. And you were our keynote speaker in Charlotte when we had the Scott brothers, and you did an amazing job. And we just loved having you. So we'll definitely have you come back to a conference. But I know from that, you were able to remain engaged with a lot of our industry members, and which I love. And so I see a lot of them on your platform and have benefited from what you've been able to share, and which I think is really, really great. So, and I also just want to say just really quickly, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Show. Yes, they're expecting a baby, so it's very exciting. So yay!
Yeah, very exciting. It's been a long journey, but my wife and I are now 21 weeks pregnant. It's been a huge up and down battle for 5.5, 6 years, and so we're super fired up. So thanks.
I know that's going to be exciting, and and when I was in that same mode, we had some challenges too. And when I was at 20 weeks, I was in a car accident.
Ooh.
And so, it was just rear-ended, but I got hit pretty hard. So they said, you should go to the hospital just to make sure the baby's okay. Well, we had tried to figure out if it was a boy or a girl the first time, and the baby had the legs crossed, so we couldn't tell. So then while they were checking me, I go, well, since you're in there, so you can tell me what it is, because I wanted to know.
Right.
And then they said it was a little girl. So I'm just so happy for you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing parents.
I
And
appreciate that.
Yeah. And I know it's been a hard journey, but
Yeah.
God has really brought you through, and your faith. So I just really commend you guys for, and also for being public about it. You've shared with a lot of people. So
yeah,
I think that's really great. Let's talk about what we're dealing with now. I mean, what do you, with your clients, what are you seeing? What are you telling people that are possibly discouraged or wondering, like, what do I do? I don't have any money coming in, or what am I going to do after this? What are you hearing and doing? And
I think for me, and as I mentioned earlier, I work with business owner clients. That's what I do all day long. So this was hitting the front line for me as someone that not only for my own business as a business owner, but for my clients. So I took the approach of tactical, and also from a psychology. It's kind of a two-pronged approach. So mindset approach is this: there's a lot of people hurting right now. Obviously, we're in unbelievably uncertain times. Obviously, the world seems to have been shutting down virtually, no pun intended. But I'm also a believer that you can look at situations, and again, I'm not being naive. I know that I'm not being disempathetic or whatever, unempathetic with people. So I know times are tough, and every video I do, I always start out with saying my hat goes off to all the first responders, all the people that are on the front lines, the medical professionals. Hats off to you guys for trying to keep us safe. But from a business standpoint, mindset wise, you can either watch CNN and Fox News every hour of every day and memorize the stats and have political jostles back and forth with people on social media, but that is not being productive at all for your business. So right now, more than any time in your business, is your opportunity to really put, instead of garbage in, frankly, garbage out, you got to start putting good stuff in your mind. That means starting to do a new routine. I started to work out in the morning and run and kind of clear my head in the morning. I'm not a morning workout person at all, but I started to create a new habit, new routine through this coronavirus epidemic. And that allowed me to kind of get fresh and kind of allowed me to start listening to motivational audios and videos and reading books. Because if we allow our brains to focus on something, right, our beliefs start to change, actually. I mean, I've studied the brain a lot, and that's why when I coach with my clients, is part of what we do is from a mindset perspective is to have you start thinking differently about your opportunity, right? There's some staging professionals right now on this call that believe that $1 million or $2 million is not only doable, but it's like automatic. It's expected. Some people on the line right now are just super, super, super excited to maybe hit 60 grand or 100 grand. Is it tactical? Is it a skill set? Maybe a little bit the difference, but a lot of it is your mindset. A lot of it is what you're expecting and what you're believing. So if you're allowing this entire thing to say, no one's buying from me, no one's buying our services. I just had a call with a client of mine last week, and he was saying, well, my business is discretionary, meaning it's not necessarily an essential business for my clients to buy it. I said, you have to stop saying that. You literally have to stop saying that, because it's literally becoming your own reality. And when it becomes your own reality, guess what happens? Your beliefs control your actions. If I believe no one's buying from me, well, why the hell am I even going to pick up the phone? I have other clients that think this is an unbelievable opportunity to serve my clients. So rather than typing an email, I'm going to pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you doing? Did I ever share with you that we also have this, this, and this? This is what we're doing. I had a client do that. Again, different way of thinking. That one client, by picking up the phone and calling their connection, got 3 orders immediately. One after another. Nothing crazy big, but they're starting to create momentum in their business. So I think right now there's so much fear and anxiety. And I get that that's happening in our society, but you don't have to buy into it. That doesn't have to be your belief, your reality. It doesn't have to be that way. So I'm of the belief that there's been, you mentioned it earlier, there's been companies over the last 50 years that have been developed in the most economically troubling times in the history of our country. Now these are companies that we all know very, very well, but they started in the worst times on the planet. So are you looking at this thing as the world is crashing, or are you saying this is an opportunity for me as a business owner to reinvent myself? This is an opportunity for me. Someone said, maybe it was you or your last guest said, this is some opportunities for me to create something a little bit unique versus my competition. What can I do today? Maybe it is an online course. Maybe it is. And by the way, maybe this is your opportunity. And I teach this in my coaching methodology. Maybe this is your opportunity to joint venture, power partner with a sideline business. So now you go to the market to your prospects or your clients with an added value with a sideline business, and we come together as a package. I don't know what that looks like, but this is your time to get quiet. It's hard to do, but it's your time to get quiet and say, what do I want to create? God, I don't know why this is happening to me and everybody else in our world, but what can I learn from it, and how can I be opportunistic with it so that maybe before I wasn't calling my clients, maybe before I wasn't picking up the phone and actually calling my prospects. This is your time to be vulnerable, and this is your time to serve at the highest of levels. And when that happens, I'm just a big believer. And when you have the right mindset baked in with serving, becoming a servant leader, good things will happen.
I agree. And I think collaboration, I just wrote that word down when you were saying that's genius too, to think about like, so if, I'm not saying people aren't struggling. However, we have the ability in the staging world that we can go into different directions pretty easily. We can shift. And so think about an industry or like a partner, someone that you utilize and have a joint message that goes out, and even picking up the phone and saying to clients, hey, I'm just thinking about you. When this is, is there anything I can do for you now? Or when this is lifted, how do you see things changing? Is there anything else that I can do for you, for your business to help support you?
Yeah.
And that'll go miles. I made a phone call, and it was to get a bill paid. It was a consultation to be paid. And it's on the phone. Normally, you just shoot a text off or an email, but because I was on the phone, the realtor was like, well, you know what, it says here on the phone, I actually have this little condo I need staged, and it led to income. So, and that's not why I called. I wasn't asking for business, but it's just, you're right, that personal touch is so important. And mindset, our beliefs are, what you listen to, who you're around, and what you read. Doesn't say that's what's going to influence your success is impacted by the people you hang around with or listen, collaborate with and align with, the books you read in them and the things you listen to. And so those could be audiobooks, it could be music or whatever. But if you're listening to that negative news, that does impact your mindset. And we can see that on Facebook. People are mean. And they're just, I said on our call on Monday, our chapter call, it's a political year too. So that brings out the best in people.
Right.
Right. So already we have that against us. And
Yeah.
then we have this, coronavirus thing, which people are scared. And so, and I just put out, when was the last time that anybody ever changed their mind on Facebook about a political position or whatever?
Right.
Never.
Right.
That's never happened.
Right.
And so why waste? People just take a lot of time to posture and go back and forth because you have time, but make that time productive. I am taking a lot of time to be on top of the loan situation for small business owners. And those of you that are watching, by the way, get your paperwork in. They did approve the new round of funding.
Right.
And so, my bank, Chase, which, is under the magnifying glass right now for how they approved some of these larger loans. They did just email me yesterday that I'm in the third round of approval, but I'm not waiting around for them because I don't know, that's too little too late. I was told to reapply. So I did. I went through the PayPal, which is Loan Builder. Also Womply at WOMPLY, which is actually a client like CRM, database management, marketing. They're actually aligned with funding. And then someone else was like Cabbage. And, some of these, Cabbage is a hard money lender, but any lender can make that 5% off the loan that they give. So they're all taking part in it. But if you can get to an entity that's smaller than these larger banks, you don't just get lost in the shuffle, literal shuffle, it'll be better. So you have to prepare. So what are you doing to make sure that you are protecting your business and getting things that can help you, but also what are you going to do coming out of this? And so I think adding services is very smart. So photography, video, anything that helps market that property, but keeping that mindset positive. So what are a couple of your favorite books for people? Well, actually, you just had a book that came out too. What's your new book?
Yeah, I just came out with a book last year, latter part of last year, became a bestseller pretty quickly. It's called, for all of your listeners and viewers, it's just go to Blueprint Playbook. It's just blueprintplaybook.com, blueprintplaybook.com. It's a download. If you don't want the download, if you want the hard copy, you can just go to Amazon, Scott Hansen, Blueprint. You'll see the hard copy. I think it's like 18 or 19 bucks. But I created it literally with the small business owner in mind. And so I'm a big believer in high performance and mindset. This is not that. This is an actual, literally a blueprint for a business owner. Like, what do I do every day in business? What do I do? What are the 10 chapters, 10 strategies on how to create a successful business by following these sort of the yellow brick road, if you will, these 10 strategies to help you scale your business. And it's very, very tactical. So if you're looking for more of that warm and fuzzy feel good mindset, for this book, it's not that. If you want a game plan, that's why I called it the Blueprint Playbook. If you want a game plan, a GPS on where you are now and where do you need to go and follow through, and how do I follow through, and what's my avatar, and how do I get crystal clear on that, and how do I actually approach the sales game and the sales process, all of those things are embedded You can do a very, very, very quick read, blueprintplaybook.com. Check it out. And so that's my book, is what I can, but I mean, there's a lot of them. I just had, I also have as you know, a successful podcast called Success Hackers. And on the Success Hackers podcast, we had Weldon Long, really, really successful guy, was in jail for a long time, came out of jail, turned his life around, and he kind of bakes into some of the high performance strategy mindset and tactics that he learned. And now he's got a really big, thriving business. I forgot the name. Shame on me for not knowing. It's Weldon Long. Is a very successful author around mindset. And there's also a book that I started reading. You Need to Make More Money by Matt Monero. It's kind of a money sort of a rah-rah, but it really points out something that his story was, and I also had him on my podcast as well, but it points out the fact that no matter how much money you have right now, I mean, right now is a perfect example. We never know when something is going to happen. You know, the old saying of having enough money for a rainy day. I mean, this is the ultimate analogy right now. What we're experiencing is having enough money for a rainy day. What are you doing right now in your business to really, and I know that everybody that's listening right now has a servant mentality. They're great probably with customer service. They love to help people, love to serve. But I'm a huge believer too, is you have to think about money. You have to think about money gives you options, period, end of story. I mean, those people that are that listening right now have a boatload of cash stacked in the bank are feeling a little bit less anxious than maybe if you have 10 grand in the bank right now. Right. So I do believe money is important. Matt Monero, it's called You Need to Make More Money or something. Anyways, so those are a couple of books that I look at. I mean, I'm always reading. I always tell people my morning routine after I work out and run outside is I come back, shower, and in the shower, I have my iPad every single day for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm listening to something every day, something around sales, around leadership, and around mindset. Every day, like that's my morning routine. And so when I'm ready to work, my mindset is jacked up. Like I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make things happen. And that sets the tone for the day. And I'm a big believer in how you set the tone in the morning is how you permeate the rest of the day. Morning. Yeah.
And so Janice is asking, is it called the Consistency Selling by Weldon Long, 2018 book?
No, he's got another one. I forgot the name of it. It's
Okay.
not that's Weldon Long though. Yeah, he's a sales trainer, but he's got another book, and I can't remember it. So maybe one of your listeners can check it out. It's Weldon Long. He's got one is like maybe 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there maybe.
And then so first thing in the morning, most of us reach for our phones, right?
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst thing. The worst thing you can do is the worst thing, and we all do this. The very worst thing you can do from a productivity standpoint is, drum roll, is go right into work mode. That's checking email. It's the worst thing, and it's not me saying this. It's all the productivity sort of experts in the world literally say the worst thing you can do is check your email virtually as soon as you roll out of bed. And the reason why that is, and I do a lot of presentations, I think you alluded to in the beginning, and I spoke with your group. The worst thing you can do is do that, because what it does is it literally tells your mind, I'm ready to play defense. As soon as you check your email, because I think everybody listening would agree that how many times have you woke up excited and fired up for the day, and in 10 minutes, because you checked one email, you're like, oh, now I'm in a shitty mood. Well, why are you checking email right off the bat? Get your mind right. Get your sponge called your mind right with everything I just talked about. Then and only then, and by the way, here's another productivity hack. Spend 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes in the morning, and write out what are the 3 most important things you need to do for that day. So you get up, right? You listen to something sort of motivational, whatever you want to call it, affirmations, goals, whatever. Spend 10 minutes in quiet time with your cup of coffee or tea or water, and write down the 3 things that you need to do for today. Now and only now can you start opening up email.
Well, and it's so I know Karen's like guilty. So what I am, and Andrew put the link for your book, which is great. So thank you,
Cool.
Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
I know when I look at my phone, so I check text messages, which just to see because the team checking in. But then a lot of people go to social media. So even though that's maybe not as negative as far as like, oh my gosh, I have to fight fires with my emails.
Right.
But how many of you have gotten sucked into the vortex of social media and an hour goes by and you're still in your pajamas and commenting and doing stuff. And I'm not saying you shouldn't check in with friends, but that's non-productive. So what is a great, like, you do have a favorite, like motivational app or something like, cause I have the New Life, I have a Bible app. So it'll send me the scripture for the day. You can meditate on that. But some people, if there's something else that they're looking for, or just something that's motivational, that should be the first thing that you look at to get your mindset right. Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah. I mean, I listen, everybody's different. Everybody sort of gets inspired somehow. I'm a Tony Robbins sort of let's go, let's make things happen kind of person. Some people are a little bit, less like that, I guess, or whatever, more sort of quiet natured, but whatever move. I mean, there's so many different, again, for me, it's YouTube, frankly. Some of you are for podcasts, which is great. I don't know. I just, I would just suggest to anybody, like, for example, there's an affirmation video. It's kind of materialistic feel because it shows cars and homes and things of that nature. It's called I am, fill in the blank affirmations. It's a great way to say, I am rich. I am blessed. I am grateful. I am a money magnet. I continue to attract all the right people. Some of you right now are like, oh, that's way too woo-woo for me. That's cool. That's cool. That's some things that I also do is I will play that over and over and over and over again, is just because those two words, I am, are arguably, outside of 3 words, I love you, I am is probably one of the 2 most powerful words in the English language, because it's what comes after I am. That's the magic. I am a loser. I am not successful. I am always busy. I'm never enough. I'm never good enough. I am poor. I am not connected enough. Or is it I am blessed, I am grateful, I am a beast, I am really good at what I do. You see the difference? Just what comes after I am makes all the difference in what you tell yourself every single hour of every single day in your business. I mean, we could talk tactics and strategies all day long, but if your belief system about who you are and what you represent isn't at its peak level, then you got to do what I call inner work. You have to mix the inner work with the tactics, with the marketing, with the follow-up, with the follow-through. Because if you can do all the right strategies from a sales perspective, from a follow-up perspective, but if you believe there's no way my business is going to get above $100,000 a year, and yet you work 20 hours a day, it's not going to matter. I always say that it's not about how hard you work, and everybody's heard this. It's not about how hard you work. It's about what you believe is possible, because you and I both know people that work 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, maybe they're parents and they have to spend the other X hours with their kids, yet they get the most done, and frankly, they're enjoying life and they're crushing it in business. How is that possible? Because for those 6 hours, they're super diligent, super efficient, and they believe I am put on this earth to make $500,000, to make $1 million, to grow my business to multiple locations, whatever that belief system is.
That's really powerful. So Virginia is saying this is powerful, Scott. We need to replace our tapes, which we play in our head, and become positive. So and I think I'm going to start doing that with the YouTube videos. There's one that it's called like Success Thinkers or Success something, but it's YouTube, a series, and it's all these motivational speakers. And a couple of years ago, I think it was in Charlotte. I did the video of the journey.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Journey to the Top. And so the journey, and so that comes from, there's a whole series of these things on YouTube, and they're short, but they're really motivational. They got music behind them. What a great way to wake up to that. And changing mindset, a lot of that has to do, as you're saying, with the belief system, but what we people who, when we teach class, I remember this one student, she said, nobody will ever pay me that much for staging. And we were talking about pricing your services and so forth. And we had, different people sharing what their markets will bear. And she goes, well, nobody will ever pay me that much. And it seemed like no matter what we shared, she always be like a Debbie Downer, like, whoa, like that's never going to happen for me. And so I finally just challenged her. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I said, that's what you believe. You're exactly right. When you believe that you can be paid more, you're right too.
Yeah.
And I said, so your mindset needs to change.
Yeah.
Because right now you're contradicting everything that we're sharing because your mindset isn't right. And she stopped and she looked at me, and I don't think anyone had ever challenged her that way before. And she said, I've never thought about it that way. But so whatever you believe, you're right. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. What is that? Who's that author?
Norman Vincent Peale.
Norman Vincent Peale.
Yep.
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 So, there's been so many, there's so many great books out that you can pick up and read. And a lot of them are not, but I love your blueprint for success. And I think that's something that I would like to include for our stagers that we teach. I think that would be an excellent add-on for them. So we'll talk about that.
And I would say back to piggyback what you just said, sort of to put a bow on this, is you're absolutely right. Whatever whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody throws around this word mindset. You need better mindset. You need better mindset, which I agree with 100%. However, when you start, well, I shouldn't say start, when you start and then continue, that's the key. Consistency around mindset is like building a muscle. I know so many people that start out, doing this morning routine, or they start out listening to great audios for a month. But here is, if anybody doesn't remember anything from this video, is this. You have to do things over an extended period of time. Success is not sexy. It's not a one-time shot. It's not going to happen next month or next year. It's going to happen. It's a slow sort of a methodical build. And I don't mean that you have to spend 25 years to be successful. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is here's key, know that you're going to be doing this for a very long time. And you should be focusing on, how do I become better, 1% better, 1% better today than I was yesterday? Well, Scott, what does that mean? It can mean a lot of different things. We can spend the next hour on that. But how do I become 1% better tomorrow than I was today? So if mindset is an issue, and how do I know if it's an issue? Very simple. Here's something that everybody should take a look at. How do I know if my mindset's right or not? Very simple. Look at your bank account. Look at your bank account. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that if you have a large bank account, you believe that attracting clients and making money, frankly, is easy. You believe it's just natural. I'm supposed to be getting clients. I'm supposed to be serving people at a high level with my staging business. People want to work with me. Thus, I'm the shit. Okay. I'm the shit, and people should be working with me, and I should be charging high dollar for that. And money just comes easily for me. Look at your bank account. What's your belief around money? Look at your bank account. If it's low, I would argue with you, and you're going to come back to me, well, you don't know my situation. You don't know where I'm at. You don't know this. And all that's, frankly, and I'm just going to be real, all those are just excuses. So if you have a problem, here's something that's kind of a deep methodology. If you have a problem, whatever that problem is, I would push back to challenge you to say that's not a problem. It's the belief around what you have as a problem. That's the problem. So, you know what my problem is? I don't have enough time. It's not a problem. What's your belief around how much time do you need to put in a given day to be successful? Oh my God, you don't understand my situation. I got to put in 20 hours. Wrong belief system. Because your belief creates your thoughts, which create your actions, then what create your results. So it's never about just the problem. And I know I'm kind of going deep with this, but I would just challenge everybody listening that it's not necessarily the problem. It's the step before the problem that creates the problem. And a lot of it is, what are you thinking about that problem? All men suck. And the problem is, all men suck. There's not any good ones out there. Is that really the problem? Or is the belief system about men, weird example in business, the belief system around men is, you know what? Maybe at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, your father left you, and you made a meaning to say that all guys up and leave. And that got uprooted into your soul, into your being. And now here you are, 35, 45, 55, 65 years old, and there's no good men. All men are horrible. Well, is that really the problem? So it applies to business as well. I know it kind of went off on a rabbit hole with that, but
that's a great analogy, because it's things that we went through when we were younger impact our everything.
Yeah.
And so some people maybe need to take a look at where their mindset comes from, or their beliefs, or their things that are holding back. And there's actually people who have the fear of success. That's actually very real, that they're afraid to succeed. I mean, we were 1 week into this whole lockdown, and there was a stager that posted, well, I guess I got to sell off all my inventory. How many of you guys are going to do that? And I was just like, what? I mean, why? There's no reason to. So that whole thing, it's like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. It's like, I'm thinking like, well, how could I continue to get business? And, but I don't know that person's perspective. I'm just going to give up. And it's also people, I love the whole thing you said too, that it's, success, it is a journey, and it is a step-by-step, and it does not quit. People get impatient. They want to be immediately successful. And so oftentimes I'll read the story of the fern and the bamboo, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the fern grows where the bamboo doesn't. And just when the person's about ready to quit, the bamboo is going to shoot up 100 feet in the air, and you don't know what your journey is. So people can't give up and not compare to other people. But what are you doing that might be holding you back from that last thing that's really going to make you skyrocket? And I
would just say to that one last thing, the thing that you're afraid of, here's the magic. The thing you're afraid of, once you get past that thing, and by the way, 95% of that fear, right, is just the story you keep telling yourself about how fearful it is. So 95% of that fear is just made up, and it's the story that you keep telling yourself about why it's so fearful and hard. But once you get through that, I'm telling all of your listeners right now, once you get through that, you open up new possibilities in your business. You open up new relationships. You open up new JV partners. You open up new ideas for maybe an online course, or whatever the case is for you. Once you get past it, and here's the key, once you blow through that, you will never, ever, ever again have that thing that was such a big sort of 800-pound gorilla in your life. You will never have that as an issue ever again. So the good news is, if I slay that thing, and all I have to do is just go through it, right? Once I slay it, that 800-pound gorilla becomes about that big, and you never have to deal with it again.
And the thing is, I mean, someone like you that's a coach, and you've gone through these things, being able to come alongside and help people. I'll use it. This is actually a true story that I went through skiing. So my husband's an expert skier, and he'd taken me we were in Squaw or Alpine or something skiing, and it was spring skiing, so it was icy conditions and high winds, and I'm not an expert skier. So we're in the chairlift line to go up to this, it was Emigrant was the chairlift line. So we're in there, and they say, if you're not an advanced skier, get out of line right now. So I go to move out of line, and my husband grabs me from the back, and he pulls me back in line. He goes, you're not going to whip out, get in here. So we go on the chairlift, and ice is pelting us in the face, little ice chips, because it's so windy.
Yeah.
So we get up to the top, we get off the chairlift, and I was a good solid intermediate skier. I hate moguls, but so we get there, and it's a bowl. So it's this steep, and I'm looking down, I'm thinking like, no, I can't do this. So I psych myself out. I start getting fearful. So then we're like, okay, let's just traverse around the rim of the bowl. So we traverse, and then we get to this part. I can't go any farther because without having to actually take a leap of faith, literally, because there was these exposed, jagged rocks.
Oh my gosh.
And I would have had to ski off, and there was like a 3-foot jump or something like that. And I literally froze. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to cut my head on those rocks. I mean, I was literally paralyzed. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed with fear. And John goes, just do this. And he makes it look so easy. And so then he's like trying to get me to come down. And I didn't do it. I froze out of fear. And he had to take his skis off, come back up to the top, help me get my skis off and get out. And then he said, which, being my husband, he goes, I'm so disappointed. At that point, I was so mad. And I just was like, this is not fun for me. But, what you just shared, kind of, I look back and like, I let fear completely shut me down.
Yeah.
And didn't trust that somebody that he showed me what to do. I just had to follow. And I couldn't do it. Right. And so that's a great example of, I let that control me. And being able to push through that, had I just done it, I would have been like, oh, this is not a big deal.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep. So your business, are you taking on more clients?
I am. Yeah, I am. Periodically I open up some one-on-one slots, what I call it. These are business owners that really been in at least a year in business. They're doing at least 200,000 in gross revenue. And yeah, I do a 30-minute sort of get to know you call, kind of a discovery call. We do a little deep dive in your business, 30 minutes. If anybody kind of fits that mold, if you've been in business at least 2 years, you're doing 200,000 or more in gross revenue. Just go to, the link is Huddle with Scott, like as in football huddle, huddlewithscott.com, and you'll see my calendar, and yeah, check it out. So
2 years in business and 200K.
Yeah. So, but this has been great. Thank you, Jenny, so much for.
I know. I love it. And we'll definitely be in touch. And I can't wait for the new addition to your family. I'm so excited, and I know a lot of people are really behind you and Michelle. So, anyway, stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much for being on. This was wonderful.
This has been great. Yeah, and good luck to you with everything. And it's so great to see what impact that you continue to make, and obviously all the followers that you have and all the people in part of your tribe. And I know that you're always trying to add value anywhere you can. And so, yeah, anytime I can come on. Like you said, when I got the nod to speak with the Property Brothers in October, I think of 2018.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. I had a lot of people that I met. I see a lot of people in the chat right now that I had an opportunity to meet and befriend and stay in contact with. And frankly, like you said earlier, I had a chance to coach, work with some of your members, and we help them in their business. So yeah, it's always anytime I can come on and talk to you about this, it's something that I really enjoy doing. So again, thanks for having me on. So
I know Mary Scally. So those of you that know Mary, you can reach out to her and talk to her. And I'm just going to say that I think sometimes people don't want to do coaching because they don't want people to know really the truth of what's happening in their business and the flaws. And so somebody like Scott's not going to come and be like judge and execution or whatever. They're there to help you. So when we can't be honest with where we are in our business and our finances and so forth, then we're not opening ourselves up to be helped. And we're limiting our ability to grow. And I love that you help people craft teams, because I think it's one of the hardest things. A business like ours, you cannot scale unless you bring people on as a team, and then being able to find the right people to put in place, and then that gives you back more productive time, and where do we need to be putting our time.
Exactly.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on. Say hi to Michelle.
I will. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This was a great show. We'll have another great lineup for you next week, and just keep being forward focused. I'm going to do look up some great books and so forth that I can talk about next week that, you might be able to look into, and I'll post them on our sites as well. Just little nuggets. I mean, this one, I'm going to encourage you guys to pick up too. This is The Art of Influence. This is by Chris Widener, who is one of our keynote speakers. And this is the book he'll be talking from. And it's like a little novel. It's like you can see it's not a bunch of, forms and charts and so forth. It's the story. And so being able to read and fill our minds with something positive, while also being mindful of, staying tapped into what's happening. But do you really need to know the death toll every day from this? No, I don't know. I don't even look at that anymore. I want to know how many people have recovered. That's what I want to know. And I'm not trying to minimize people who may have lost family members, because one of my cousins did pass away, which is really sad. And she was older, but still, I mean, it is taking people's lives. So I'm not trying to, disregard that or minimize it. However, keeping track of that or posting that and so forth, think about what you're posting. Is what you're posting going to encourage and uplift people and help some people with information that can help them advance their business or deal with the situation better? Or is it just more negative pollution that we're posting and sharing? So think about that the next time you go to post something. Is this something that's going to uplift and edify or educate in a positive way? Or is this something when somebody reads, it's going to make them go more into the fear box? So that's my challenge for us all this week, to be mindful of what we're sharing. Again, be kind to each other. We're all colleagues. We don't have to agree on absolutely everything. And if you have that mindset that if somebody doesn't agree with me, they're not my friend, I'm going to encourage you to open your mind, because you're missing out on a lot of really fabulous people just because they may not agree with you on one or two areas. And I don't live my life that way. I have friends from all different backgrounds and beliefs and so forth, and you can find common ground in a lot of other ways. So I would never eliminate somebody from my life that just because they didn't like a particular candidate or a position or an situation or something. And so there's lots of other things you guys can talk about, that we can talk about, that are beneficial to everybody and uplift. So be that person. in other people's lives. So that's my challenge for everybody for this week. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bye-bye.